baby.
Our first question today is, what's the one thing you didn't expect us to achieve when you took on the role as Catch CEO?
Well, so I've been here some 7 years now, and the organisation has grown exponentially. I think there was about 18 or 20 of us when we first got here, and it's just been such a journey for the whole business. I knew that the skills side would grow, but the thing that's, I suppose, has really gone beyond my expectation was our space in terms of that net zero journey. So for us to deliver with a number of key partners the Humber Industrial Cluster Plan, that roadmap to net zero, has been a fantastic achievement, and it's one that's really cemented our part in that journey to net zero for the Humber region.
Our next question, David, is from one of our directors. Andrew Mitchell from Online Group has asked, given the changing industry landscape in the Humber Industrial Cluster and the UK, what does the short, medium and long-term future look like for Catch?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. I think in terms of short term, we have to continue to deliver excellence. We've grown exponentially over the last few years, as I mentioned earlier. And I think we have to ensure that we consolidate and that we really do continue to deliver excellence in all areas of the business, from our membership right through to our adult skills and our apprenticeships and ComCom, our contractor competency scheme. I think it's important that we do that, but at the same time we must continue to play an important part in the region. We must ensure that we support the region and that we continue to understand through all our networking events and all the activity that regionally that we attend, that we have that great understanding of the industrial landscape for the region and where the region is going.
And what's your perspective on the medium and long term?
So having reflected on what we're doing at the moment in terms of delivering that net zero plan and all of the skills activity and the networking events that we undertake, we've identified that there is already a huge skills shortage, but in order to build, operate and maintain the 15 to 20 billion pounds worth of investment coming into this region for that industrial decarbonisation net zero journey, we have to support industry in terms of developing the next generation of tradespeople. And so for Catch, the medium and long term vision is to scale up our delivery, and we have some really exciting plans to literally increase our intake of learners and intake of young people into industry by a factor of 10. Our ambition is to deliver 1,000 new people into industry every single year.
Our next question, David, is from a member of the team, and they're asking you, what are your 3 favourite books and why?
Okay, interesting. I'd probably like to know who that was. So I think one of my favourite books is from one of my heroes, one of my all-time heroes, and that's Sir Ranulph Fiennes. The book's called Mad, Bad and Dangerous to Know, which kind of sums him up really well. He's the greatest living explorer. He's ex-military, I'm ex-military by background, so I can kind of feel that kind of connection almost. I have been to see him live as well. And he's an incredible character, and the one thing I've drawn from that book is about driving forward, no matter what the circumstances, no matter how bad things are, as long as you can put one foot in front of another. And he talks about that when he crosses the Antarctic single-handed. I think as long as you can continue to drive forward, you've got your vision, you know where you want to go. It's kind of, that's the lesson that I really pick up from Sir Ranulph Fiennes. I suppose the second one is one that's kind of guided me over recent years since someone recommended it to me, and that's the chimp paradox, Professor Steve Peters. It's a great way of taking a really complex subject, the psychology of the brain, how we think, and then using simple metaphors, and it kind of shows, it really makes it really simple to understand how our brain works. And so for me, for example, I've got lots of things kind of chipping away at me. You know, what if we did this? Why don't we do that? What's this organisation doing? What should we be doing? And is everybody happy? Oh, there's a shiny thing over here.
Yeah.
And it really, by reading that book and understanding how the brain kind of processes everything, it's really helped me to kind of understand where I need to be and what space I need to be in as the leader of the business. And then a third book, I suppose a little lighter, would be Peter Crouch, How to Be a Footballer. So I'm an avid football fan, and I'm a big fan of Peter Crouch. I think in a world of, dare I say, big egos and big money, he's actually quite a humble and down-to-earth individual, and that comes across really nicely. There's a little anecdote from his book that I really enjoyed, and that's where he first went to Liverpool and first started to get some big money and started to get, his name was getting out there. He's never been into cars, and he really felt that he ought to get a footballer's car, so he bought himself I think it was an Aston Martin. And he lived in Cheshire, as they all do, and he pulled up at the lights next to Roy Keane, who, for those who don't know, is quite a hard man, I suppose, a robust footballer. And he kind of looked at Roy Keane in the next car at the lights, and he said, and he was kind of thumbs up and really proud with sunglasses and music blaring. I think he said garage music blaring out. I'm not quite sure what that meant. And Roy Keane just apparently looked at him with disdain and just shook his head. And apparently Peter Crouch literally sold the car the next day. And I think for me that kind of just sums up how he kind of realised that that's not him, and he didn't have to have that ego that maybe some footballers do. And I like that because it showed him as a humble, down-to-earth individual, and that's why I kind of like that book. And I suppose there's a little thread through all those three books that is about the human psyche and how we interact with people and how we should be as people, and that's why those books kind of resonate with me.
Final question, what do you wish I had asked you?
So I suppose it would be, why did I join Catch? You know, what was it about Catch that really attracted me? And I suppose I've been in the training world on and off for over 30 years. I've worked in training in the military environment. I've worked for Pearson, one of the biggest training companies around, and other organisations. And I think what really attracted me to Catch was when you showed me around before I had decided to actually apply for the role, and I was blown away by the facilities, by the people, and by the way that Catch is industry-led. It truly is industry-led, and that really excited me. But what really cemented it was seeing the facilities and the simulated process manufacturing plant that we have on site. And I could see the way that could be used to develop young people in a safe environment, because we're only manufacturing water at the end of the day. And so the idea of people learning in a safe environment before they go into industry really excited me, and it was for that reason that I kind of decided to apply, and the rest is history.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, David.